I think there's a lot of times where I come in and I speak eloquently and I talk about my life and the stories and all the things that's happening. And it just kind of hit me this morning, right now, in this Sunday, that this is not the time for me to be pretty. And when I say that, I'm going to talk in detail about the next subject. And I'm not going to hold my tongue. I'm not going to care what you think or what you say. I don't care what anything else says except for the truth that I know. And the truth of I know is why reading is fundamental. Why is it so important? And why and what is fueling the building of the literacy center? And very simple is that reading is the fundamental process to be able to change, enhance, build, create your life and the lives around you. Period. And so, in saying that, I know we get the hoo hoo hoo, and I'm like, no, I want you to understand first and foremost when we talk about our history, when I talk about my history, the one thing that they took away, well, not the one thing, there was a lot of things they took away from people who they enslaved and brought them over, but they took away and hid them from the ability to read and write, which is the foundation of being able to build communication that's rooted in something, not just your personal beliefs, not just your personal opinions, just not the TikToks and all that, not just because he said, she said, this said. It's because you're able to find information and vet it for yourself. So when they took away the right to read and write, the thing is they took away the ability to seek further and find more. So the very first thing is being African American, being from a history where slavery is in your DNA. You don't understand that in all the things during the emancipation and everything else that was granted the ability to open up a book and not be murdered was one of the foundational things. And then even in that, you got chastised. Oh, you think you smart, boy. Oh, you think you this. Oh, you think you that. Because you were able to dig into a book and be able to come out with some sense of direction after finding those words. So we come from a group that were illiterate on purpose and by design. And also, I don't think we actually understand that during this time, all of the other laws and things that were made while we were just sitting there trying to find the right to become equal, how much had really been stacked against us. But then we come back and have a generation that fought for the right to read, for the right to be educated, for the right to vote, the right to turn around and have. And so now we understand that because of this, we find ourselves where we can enunciate the marginal institution, which is not the right word, but the marginalized ways that we are. We're able to turn around and proclaim and build and go into places that were not there for us before. So, whatever opinions we have about how we get there or who's there or who's not, the key thing is we're able to be because we've got foundation in literacy. So, why am I wanting to build a literacy center? Well, actually, when we talk about building Rwanda, when we talk about all the things that's happening with Rwanda, number one, Rwanda itself as a country has a dedication towards education. Please research it, look at it. They are dedicated towards education. The thing is, it's a whole country, so it takes more than one program. It takes more than one man. It takes more than one to do anything. It takes a nation. It takes us holding our hands together. So while you're over there, I'll work over here, or I'll do this over here. So the very first thing is that I've moved myself into a country that believes in the power of being better, in the power of greater, in the power of investing in its own people. The second piece of it is that literacy, hands down, is the one change agent that is not the only change agent, but it's the one major change agent that helps build economy. People who can read People who can write can turn around and change the landscape and be able to build more. What happens is that they're no longer imprisoned by the ignorance of not having. They now have access to find out more and choose to do so or choose not to do so. Literacy equates choice. Literacy equates opportunity. Literacy equates the ability to be, find more, do whatever. So my goal in Gashura is to become part of a community and not only be an economic business in that community, but to be a powerhouse and help building that community to be all that it can be by investing in the children of that community and the families of that community. Because the more that you turn around and invest in each person or each one, oh, that's an outfit. Okay. And each one, the more that each one can turn around and build and take out your family or take out and do all these other things. So it's not pretty when we turn around and say what really is when we talk about illiteracy. It's not pretty, but it is necessary in order to build, grow, do, and see. Period, point blank. So, why is this literacy center necessary? Because what happens is a lot of times in building or and moving, what happens is you see schools being built, you see things being invested to, you see cities coming in. And Kigali, the city, is much different than Rwanda, the country. Okay. So, what I am looking at is saying all of those places have their things. The public library in Kigali is amazing. That public library is not accessible to kids who live 100 minutes outside of Kigali. And then the truth is, so like I said, if anybody wants to come and fight me, is that I talk to our kiddos every time I go out there. I say hello, and they pretty much know their five set pieces of English. Say hello, their name. They know how to ask me my name. They know how to ask me or tell me their age. They know like they're that basic. But if you actually respond, there's a confusion. And part of that confusion can be on how fast language is spoken. There's a processing. It's the fact that we're not no longer going on script in our communication. And so what's happening is that students are being immersed, no, that's the wrong word, being introduced to English, but they're not necessarily immersed in it. And there's something different than learning book knowledge of a language and then being in the actual conversation. For anyone who's taken Spanish in school, you exactly know what we're talking about. So the key is like, wow, if we have students who are being introduced to English, then I want to be able to have conversational English going on for these students so they're able to understand comprehension better. Now let me look at it from an American point of view. Our students in academics already struggle with reading comprehension, inferencing. They look text evidence. They already struggle with these certain type of characteristics, and they learn, live, and speak in English. So, what do you think that happens with our kids who are going to bilingual with that? So, if I can turn around and take these same skills that I know that hit through books and everything else and build those in our kiddos here, I am now creating bilingual students that have the academic wherewithal to be able to perform on any, any level in Kia Rondon and in English. Another point. Another point that I have is that I have been in the school systems, and what I have noticed by majority of the work that I've seen, I have not seen all, is that learning language out here comes in a rote memorization method, which means that when I was going even in the Kia Rondon classrooms, I was seeing kids memorize da 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 da, which also means that while that works, there's not a phonetic level to that. There's not a necessary understanding, and being able to build that in a more literacy manner and be able to have books that represent that, having songs that we sing, having things that we do, having games, and we want to be able to build our local language in a fun and engaging way, so it also makes it easier for us to learn multiple languages. Now let me talk about multiple languages. Africa is full of them. Children, people will know two, three, four languages, but it all takes learning and being in that to be able to honor it and hone it. And so building a literacy center just does that. And it does it for our babies on a village level or a local level. It does it in an environment where they're comfortable and safe. This is not a school environment. This is not you got this right, you got this wrong environment. It's a come. We all talk, we all discuss. You can practice. It's a very open and warm environment. It's not a I want to say high stakes environment. It's an environment where you can come in, you can get homework help, you can get all this other stuff. And we have the same attitude for our parents and adult. Because I'll tell you this, education is taken seriously, baby. It is taken seriously. So we want to be able to provide it. But the other piece of in my own learning and stuff is that I do not want to alienate you from your families because you might know English and they don't. No, no, this is a thing we do together because the best thing you can honestly do is to take your skills, go forth, and be able to build back. That's it. It's Sankofa, Sankofa all day in and out. So, building the literacy center is the ground roots method that I'm looking to do with Hatima Farms, with J Essence Enterprises, with my cousin connection. But building this literacy center is a hands on effort for us to be able to do this where it matters, where it matters. So, yes, I am coming. I am asking for donations. I'm asking for support, but I am letting you know that this is not a cause that's cute. This is a cause I am passionate about. It's a cause that my ancestry has lived and we have learned. The only reason why I am able to do and try is because I stand on the back of people who did it before me, period. And now I'm trying to give it forward. This is the pay it forward. So I'm asking us to come together and discuss the power of literacy, the power of reading, a power of a word, what words mean, what does that portray, what does that represent, and then being able to um, create that space in a English Shore, to create that space in Shore, to create that space 100% English Shore. So I am asking, I'm pleading, I'm begging, I'm please. And of course, I'm going to give you more information, but I just had to get on now and just talk to you without it being cute, without it being politically correct, and just tell you literacy matters, education matters, college matters. All of these things matter. For those people who are like, well, I don't need that, you don't need that, whatever, just because one person did it differently doesn't mean that that one is the masses. What it means is that, and there's so much more you gain from going to school. There's so much more that you do, but you have to be able to work with the foundations and fundamentals. You have to have such a key grasp on stuff that you know how to do one or two things. You either know how to use it or you know how to root yourself in a position so you can use it at a later time. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. Nobody has ever become great not learning. Nobody. You cannot name me anybody who's in any position now who did not have to learn something. Learn. That is the basis. That is the foundation. You must learn. Nobody is great 100% on their own. Even if you get sparked with a great idea, you have to take that idea and you have to apply it someplace. And in that is a learning process. Even if you build it yourself, you have to learn how people think, how people react to the. You have to learn. You have to be observational. I feel like I'm finished. Peace and positivity to everybody. Peace and positivity to everyone. We're going to build this literacy center.